What I love about Detroit is that it is a place where people build things. In New York, we struggle to find the right group of people, talent, team, and space to build anything. Detroit has been a real joy in having the right kinds of people, the right kinds of support, and a city that's really open to innovation. So we're actually at Eastern Market today, which is one of our partners, and we're piloting this system with them throughout the market, and they use it for a number of different things, from both moving produce around within the market, but more interestingly, using the tractor trailer system, they will fill a trailer with produce, deliver it to a neighborhood as part of their neighborhood feeding program, and leave the trailer there while the tractor goes and delivers the next trailer, and then they can pick up the empties. And this then creates a more efficient flow for them. We are adding more trailer variations and growing their fleet because that's worked out so well so far. One of the things we're excited about is being able to move specialty waste that has high value from food processors around Eastern Market to central recycling and collection, where it can be repurposed and reused for purposes rather than just going into a landfill or compost. We took a long look at US bicycle law and saw the opportunity to create the Semi-Trike, which has a huge carrying capacity, as you can see, can carry up to 800 pounds in terms of a payload. And that means it's a useful delivery vehicle for American scale and American roads. Mogo is using one of these to move bikes around. We did a pilot with Lime in the fall. Bedrock is going to have one of these where they'll start using this to move goods around downtown in lieu of a large gas-powered van. Most large corporations have a fleet, and there's a couple of vehicles in that fleet that never go more than 5 miles away and never go more than 20 miles an hour. And that's what we're squarely targeting as an economic argument. Why would you spend $150,000 total cost of ownership on something like that when you could be looking at under 20 for something like this? This is a place where people are embracing of new things rather than hostile, and particularly in the areas of vehicles. And there's just such a huge talent pool of people who understand things that go down roads really, really well. Because it's a bicycle, in cities where it's allowed on sidewalks, that's very powerful when there's traffic. But also being able to transition between an on-campus or pedestrian type place onto a roadway and back gives it kind of a unique capability, which means that we can fill it at a warehouse, take it on public roads, sidewalks, and campus, and drive it right into a building through a set of double wide doors and deliver goods to the kitchen directly. Last mile is typically the solution of once goods have been delivered in bulk, like to a grocery store or to a distributor. It's when they're broken up and sent their last small distance. That's typically considered last mile. And it's usually longer than a mile. It's usually somewhere between 0 and say 10 miles or 15 miles. But everyone has their definition, but the key is that it's relatively small parcels and short distances. We've been looking at Europe for some time, and Europe is ahead of us when it comes to bicycle adoption. And in Europe today, already 25% of last mile parcel delivery, whether it's private distributors or parcel deliverers like UPS, is done by some kind of electric cargo bike, which is an incredible number. If we could get a 5% in this country, that would be a huge, huge win in terms of savings of both money, gas, less traffic, less people hurt, all of those things. So we saw what's happening in Europe and tried to find a model that works in the US. In this country, we have an enormous number of campuses and places that are mixed pedestrian vehicle uses. And there's a terrific application there where currently people are using things like off-road 4x4s with little tiny boxes on the back to move trash. It's just not, that tool was not built for that job. We can provide something that's just more efficient and better engineered for it. So one of the things to think about when you're thinking about efficiency and environmental impact is total life cycle. What does it take to dig the metal out of the ground, heat it in a forge, melt the plastics, pay all the workers, build the big building for that thing? And when you look at the total life cycle of a car versus an electric bike, and this study has been done in Europe extensively, you find that an electric bike has roughly 1/100th of the overall emissions and energy impact of an equivalent vehicle for the miles that it travels. So to do the same job, it's using a much, much smaller amount of resources. And it's really as simple as that, and that one turns into saved money. People can afford it. So we've priced this quite aggressively. A semi-trike system starts at about $15,000. And the fact that it has very, very little or almost negligible operating costs makes it a very, very attractive friend in a business, right? Because functionally you have no gas bill, you have very little or no maintenance bill, you don't have an insurance requirement, though we recommend people get some kind of commercial insurance. Anyone who can ride a bicycle legally can operate it, so it gives you a nice wide pool of labor. And in general, because it's a low-speed, lightweight object, it's easy to deal with, easy to drag around your warehouse or your garage. You can disconnect the two of these and stand the tractor upright for storage. So it only takes about 8 square feet. And of course, since it's a tractor-trailer system, if this isn't the trailer you like, there's a infinite number of other options, from flatbeds to little stake beds that have sides like a pickup truck, to fully enclosed, to sliding doors. We're working on a system right now that has a dump version for getting waste into dumpsters off the back of one of these. So the possibilities are endless. Once you separate the tractor and trailer, it gives you a lot of flexibility. The thing that we're most excited about is using the economic power of this solution to drive real change and to drive scale. Our goal is to save carbon, increase safety, make our neighborhoods quieter. The way we do that is by providing a compelling economic solution that people say, hey, that saves me money, and then they can pat themselves in the back about all the other things.